You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net and 420pace.ca. And how are you doing tonight, Tamara?
Well, I changed my meds. So instead of being like up and like for 24 and 36 hours without being able to sleep, I now went back to the original plan. But now I have to pound back some candy when I get home so I can stay awake.
Yeah, well, you sent me a message. You said you had to take a nap. I
didn't get
it. The show.
No, I didn't get a nap. I actually had chickens to go out and feed and water and shit. So and collect eggs because I hadn't been out there for a couple of days, and like I don't know if they like saved up. Like I had like 3 dozen eggs out there. I'm like, what the hell? I was only out here like 2 days ago. Like you guys saving up? You had no eggs like before. Now you got like.
Anyway, is it warmer?
Yeah, it is warmer. All of a sudden they just went poof. And I was like, okay, we got some eggs out here now. But they were laying like kind of internally a little bit. But other than that, it's been starting to warm up. I've actually got strawberries popping up and chives and stuff. Their heads, through the ground. And but we're supposed to get snow tonight.
Oh yeah. Well, as you know, last weekend we went through ice storm 2025 here in our area, and yesterday was a nice day, but today we're back to snow. With now it's raining outside. So it's just
you got a bit of a sniffle going on too.
I do. I have a cold going on here. Sinus has been plugged for like a week and a bit now, and the cough is switching to my chest, and hopefully I'll be able to breathe at least. Anyways,
right. I know.
Yeah. And then I'm limited on what I can take too, right?
No, right. Same with me. And it's the same, Alvin phoned the other night too, and he's sick.
Yeah.
And he's in Alberta. So
right.
There's a measles outbreak in Tabor, for God's sakes. My parents we were talking about this, and if you got your vaccines as a baby and your age is like our age, like we're advised to go and get our immunizations again.
Oh yeah.
Because of this measles outbreak.
Right.
Wouldn't be good for any of us at our age to get measles. And apparently the vaccines that we had as kids are probably no longer any good.
Long gone. Bye. Just so everybody knows, tonight no guests, but we got some information. Cannabis research and educational information as well. Don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube, to hit the subscribe button as well.
And on, every other, entity.
Right. Yeah. Well, all of our broadcasts go to the same YouTube channel, so.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Hit that button.
I always do a little promotional on the TikTok too, saying that we'll be here with the website at the time, and hope that somebody from over there pops into here.
Oh yeah. Well, you just never know, right?
Right. They can just look up paceradio.net, and there we are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, any update on the CSP?
Yeah,
I'll let you finish chewing when you got in your mouth.
I went out to Dirty Darts on the weekend, and my cookies were all gone.
Oh, great!
Yeah, so I was able to get a little more RSO. I could turn that money into RSO, so I can make some more.
Correct.
Goodies, right? And I did bags today at work. I'm gonna try and get out Friday again. Like it's just same people, same thing. Only difference is I don't need toques anymore and mitts. I need stuff for summer, so I have like bug spray and sunscreen.
Bug spray, I never thought about the bug spray and anything.
Yeah, if you're living out in the elements.
I'm just thinking city, right? I'm just thinking in the.
They're not though. The encampment's like in the industrial behind, and it's all trees and forest, right?
Right.
So,
Okay.
axes. And I hate to ask for like sharp items, right? So like bug spray and stuff that you'd use for summer camping because you're outside in the elements, right?
Right.
Sunscreen, all these things because
Sunscreen.
they're sitting outside. Most of them like they don't sit inside their tents all day. They're outside roaming around, so they need
Right.
stuff that water, but
Mm-hmm.
water bottles, something they could refill, like walk into a bathroom, maybe refill with tap water. I don't know, like, but again, like it's so hard because it's a never-ending cycle of them never having like always needing the same things because they lose
Oh
everything,
yeah.
or they say it's been stolen, or
Stone.
and then it's the same thing I went through with my daughter when she was in addiction, right? Somebody was
Yeah.
always robbing her, or always somebody was always stealing her boots and her coats, and we always had to replace boots and coats because they were being, or she sold
Mm.
them, or we don't even know, right? So when you go out, it's the same. It's the same people usually. There's no more at this moment. We've got a few less
Good.
because situations I've been dealing with, but dealing with them off a site now again, right? Um, yeah, but it's the same theft, fights over stuff. Why you never want to give them too much because if you and you make sure that you make sure it's equal because if you give one more than the other, there's arguments.
Oh yeah. 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 You
Even over
can.
even over bags of chips.
Yeah.
So and then sometimes they get kind of angry with you when you say no. I have because they'll come up and they'll be like first or second, third in line, and it's like, well, can I get an extra bag? And it's like, can I wait till everybody else has gotten? I got to make sure that everybody else has gotten some first.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had
Oh,
the same
completely
situation
understandable.
too with, one of the ones that were off-site too. It was like every day or every other day, sending me texts asking me, I did the first 2 days in a row. Not a lot, just a little bit here, because they were kind of, financially strapped too,
Mm.
um, just lost a sibling. Anyway, and then after the fourth text, like in the same week, I explained again the situation. This is a once a week program for everybody. And if I keep giving to you, then that means that four other people out somewhere else don't get it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I hate to have to say that and I hate to have to do that. But again, if I give too much to one, then I can't help others.
That's right. Yeah. That too.
And
That
it
as
sucks.
well.
It sucks. And I'm, you know me, I have a hard time saying no to anybody, right? So I
Yeah.
found that I have found that being a difficult situation, a little bit awkward situation where I've had to say, I'm sorry.
Yeah. 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 You like to. You're trying to help as many people as possible, and
Well, it's a thing.
whether
But if I give like too much to a small few, that means that maybe six or seven more would go without.
yeah. Well, I know at one time there you were helping a couple at home, but if it sounds like um, more and more are coming to the door, huh?
Yeah. To the
Yeah,
store more. I don't let the I only have a couple that come to the house. I have two that come to the house.
yeah,
And that's because I trusted the one before. She's a professional here in town too, though. And the other one's my neighbor, so she already knew where I lived. I could hide from her, right? And the other ones, I tell them to come to my store. I don't like after a certain time, and then we'll meet them out back or wherever by the car. I don't want them coming to my house
yeah, 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 exactly. Yeah, yeah,
or knowing where I live, right? To be fair, because you never know what their minds might think. Like if I'm showing up every week with weed and all this stuff, who knows what they think I might have stashed in my house, right? So again, you don't want to let anybody know, that kind of situation.
mm,
Even though I never have a lot here, but to them it might be.
maybe, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I see here. I mentioned we had some things to discuss today. Um, there was things that in the early days of our advocacy work and growing and things, at one time, a lot of people were ordering, seeds from Europe and other places, and some people were getting caught at the border. And well, I know Marco, he got a suitcase, hauled in at one time. Yeah, yeah, customs they held it. I think at that point it was almost to a year they had it in they were holding it. Yeah, he was going. There was court and stuff like that over it. So there was I see that there was a fella who he was down in the U.S. at a event, and on the way home, he got busted for a bunch of seeds, and he tried to argue that they weren't cannabis seeds; they were hemp seeds. And then he tried to argue that cannabis seeds aren't covered under the Cannabis Act, so they're not illegal.
Yeah, they are. They're covered in the game, so.
Yeah, the judge ruled against him. There was 465 seeds, and the judge says, "What?
Well, no, go ahead. I was going to say that.
Okay.
That's a lot of seeds. I mean,
Yeah,
really.
465 seeds." And according to the report, it says that they found a small box labeled cannabis seeds and several other packets. The box labeled contained statements such as check with local laws and regulations. I've read that on them. And some of the packets contain words such as feminize and germinate. They indicate how long it would take the seed to flower. And he said that they say that
that's like in your disclosure. Like that's like there's no defense to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Down in the ruling, the judge says having a reasonable characterized the seized seeds as cannabis, it was also reasonable for the delegate to determine that the seeds should be held as forfeit. And as noted above, Section 117 2-2 of the Customs Act does not allow for the return of properly seized cannabis. And the minister was not bound to return the cannabis seeds. So, too bad, buddy.
That he's
He
less.
didn't say anything about.
What was his conviction? Like, was he convicted of smuggling? What was he convicted of? Was he fined?
No, he was just challenging the seizure of the seeds. It doesn't even say he was charged with trying to import the seeds. It just says that his argument was that they shouldn't have seized.
Well, he wouldn't have been able to argue anything if he would have been convicted of a crime.
Charged, yeah.
They would have destroyed the evidence at that point in time.
Yeah, but they didn't. Yeah, they didn't charge him with importing the seeds.
Well, isn't that funny? Because a few years ago they sure the hell would have.
Yeah,
to my understanding.
Yeah,
anyway.
at least not in that report. There's nothing, nothing about it. But that was things that, people did wonder back in the day. And, I know that in the U.S. they considered seeds as being marijuana, but at one time I can recall being told that the seeds aren't considered cannabis because they're not proven to be viable. They have to have roots to be viable.
I don't know. I thought that too, but
yeah, that's the way. That was the way a lot of us looked at it way back then. But according to this
maybe
judge,
they aren't. If you can't, okay, so if you would have come in with an envelope with no labeling on them, with a bunch of seeds.
That's the thing. I wonder if this guy got busted because of the labeling.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. So
yeah, or that's why they were seized. Yeah,
cannabis seeds, right? These are feminized. Like, if they were labeled cannabis, it walks like a duck, right? So, like I said, there's no defense to that. Like, there's no one saying, "Well, I didn't know." Oh, they were hemp. They were just cannabis with warning labels on them saying, "Please check with your local law enforcement before you plant these."
I know. Yeah, well, we tried.
Can't fix stupid. That's it. Like, that's defenseless. Like, that's defenseless. Like, it's like me trying to get off that. Mailing that to out to Ontario off those 4 grams. I sent it in a card with my business card with love you, blah blah, in a thank you card with my signature. Like, no defense. No. Guilty. I sent it. You got my business card. You got my signature.
Can't get out of that one.
Wasn't me. Like.
Yeah, so so he's out with seeds, but I gotta think, like, if they seized 465 seeds, like, wouldn't it not have cost him more for the lawyer than the value of the seeds?
Did he even have a lawyer?
I would assume so, but who knows? I don't have the article.
All they did was seize his seize his seeds and send him on his way. And then in the interim, he tried to get his seeds back. Why would he even need a lawyer?
Well, I haven't got the story in front of me anymore, so I can't look into that and see if there's a quote from a lawyer or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be yeah, well, it's he got caught red-handed. What do you do, right? So
do the crime, do the time.
Was it like even still? There's if he even defends himself, is there not still some fees involved in that?
Usually there's legal fees, but depending on, like I said, depending if it's like it's a court border, so it's like a customs.
Yeah,
right.
It was a custom. It was a custom thing.
Custom border legislation. I'm not sure that could be totally different and separate from criminal offenses, right? I mean, if he was caught importing an illegal substance and the substance would have been seized, he would have been arrested and then taken from the border to the RCMP station and charged with a criminal offense and then let go from there, right?
Yeah, this didn't show any charge.
They were just seized at the border. His suitcase was seized by border customs officers. It could be completely different legislation and different laws that I'm not familiar with. But I'm assuming probably.
Right.
So he probably could have gotten it. Like, if he was a Canadian citizen entering Canada, he wouldn't need an immigration lawyer. There are immigration lawyers. I don't know if there's actually. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm screwing.
Lawyers for again, if he wasn't charged with anything, he wouldn't require a lawyer.
He wasn't. There's not in this article. It didn't mention anything about any charges.
It's kind of like when you go to the VSB and take all Ted's medicine, but nobody gets charged with anything, so there's nothing to challenge. They just keep taking the medicine and hoping that they'll bankrupt him between taking the stuff and fining him, right? So that he can't do it anymore.
They don't even mention. Oh yeah, they did mention the guy's name. I got the article again, and he was Canadian.
Of course he was.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not even mention about. There's a guy's name, but there's no mention about any lawyer. Any quote from a lawyer on it or anything.
Like I said, it depends on what he was like. If he wasn't charged with anything, right?
Yeah.
He was just had his seeds seized at the border by the customs officers, and then he attempted to apply to Canada Customs to get his seeds back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, because it doesn't say anything about that he was charged earlier and maybe won his charges, so now we're trying to get him back.
Does it say who the final judgment's from? Does it just say that he was a judge?
It was a judge. It's a federal judge.
Then maybe he was charged, because usually a cannabis offense is a federal offense. It's indictable.
Well, that's the seeds. That'd still be a federal offense, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, because it'd be. But then he must be charged with like importing illegal substance because that'd be the only way you'd get to a federal judge.
Yeah, but would he not have to go to a federal judge to seek something that was being held back by the federal government? Because that's what it was.
Yeah, you'd have to petition. What he probably did was petition a court to get his stuff back.
Yeah.
Which anybody can do.
Yeah, that's what it said, that the judge dismissed the case.
So what he did was petition the court to get his seeds back on his own, and the judge went, "No, buddy, it's cannabis." They dream on and just threw the case in the garbage. So he would have probably had to pay for the court filing fees and
that's what I'm wondering.
Oh yeah, he would. There's always court filing fees and that kind of thing. It's not very much. It's not. It's like maybe $100 or it's not a lot of money. $50. It's like a notary. $50, $70. They might have upped it by now. Because I know a lawyer used to be $250 an hour. Now they're $350 an hour.
Yeah,
so
I don't know.
the notary might have gone up, because we've got people that are like notaries without even being lawyers, right? You can become a notary without being a lawyer.
Alrighty, what do we got? We got 10 minutes till the break. Now, here's something. Here's a bit of a report study that was done.
I got some nice.
What do you got? What are you smoking?
Buds.
Well, hang on. I gotta get a better view. Oh, is that some more Tweed stuff?
No. This
No.
is Legacy Market.
Okay, all right. I can't, I couldn't get a real good view of the quality of it.
No, I went out to see my friends out at the Legacy on the res, and I bought some nice Kush out there, and it's pretty good.
Yeah,
But they're getting a lot of their stuff online. Like I said to her, like, where are you sourcing? And they're using the online dispensaries to get their product too. Some of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, which is good to know, because then maybe I can, see if we can't do some connections and help them get better pricing.
Yeah.
I did get one of their. I did grab a tip from out there, and it won't work, and I'm not very happy about that.
Tip? You mean like a cartridge? Yeah, a cartridge.
And it won't work. It's like there's a gap here, and this is like
okay. Yeah.
There's nothing here, right? And it won't so when it's just not working. Anyway.
I've got one. Oh, it's not a gap. I guess that's just the base that I'm looking at.
And that's the first one I've had. Never that's the first time I ever bought one from out there, and it doesn't work. But I've never had one that I bought from a legal store that didn't work.
So, I got one right here. Still full. It's got I just got a little bit out of it. There you go at the top. You can just that was it. And stop. Done.
And did you get that at the Legacy or at the legal?
This is from the Legacy Market. It's not from the legal.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, I've never gotten from Legacy, and the first time I did, it doesn't work. And anyone I've ever picked up from the legal market, I've never had a problem with. I don't know why.
Yeah. I've had them where you have to haul on them good in order for them to get unclogged.
Oh yeah, that's normal for anything because it's oil. But again, we bought that's a lie though, because I did buy 2 disposable ones in Medicine Hat on our way through Saskatchewan, and they were 2 grammers and they're garbage.
Yeah. I got a 2 grammer here. And I've been hauling on this one, and this 1 grammer. Not as when I do my shows.
Yeah.
And I'm here in the house because I don't smoke joints in the house.
Yeah.
So and they've been going. Geez,
is
this
that
2 grammers a few months old, I think.
Yeah, that's a hot box, right?
Yeah, but even it sat for a while. I took a break from it, right? Yeah.
And that's about. I think I've had that for a while too.
What flavor is yours?
1964.
Oh yeah, I got one of those.
Well, there you go. See, we're smoking the same stuff, Al. Isn't that weird?
No, what's your hot box? Your box hot, or however you get it. I get it backwards there.
I think this is
it's on the top.
Peach OG.
And I think this is the only. It's got to be the only cartridge I've seen with the strain on it, with the strain name on it. Most of mine I've just got THC stickers on them.
And this one here, this is Liquid Diamond, and it's from NSFW. I've got that one. It just says Liquid Diamonds on it. And then this one here is also a 1964, but it's got a pink top on it. It's different than this one.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember what that strain was either. You know how you had your little thing? So I went to the Strong store, and this is what they had but it's a pencil holder. It's not specifically for these. But I was looking for something like you had shown me, like those silicone, the one you made with the wood. They didn't have anything. But
no way.
But he wanted $20 for this. I'm not paying $20 for that. He goes, well, how about 10? I said, I'll take it for 10. But he wanted $20.
Pencil holder?
It's a pencil holder, or I don't know, maybe a holder for your dab sticks, maybe.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to hold my tips, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, but it won't hold the big fat one. Well, it does.
No, those 2 grammers are a little wider.
I haven't taken it off to try. But again, like I said, I need one with more holes because I've got like.
Yeah, you need more than one then, or a
Yeah,
bigger
we
one.
already had one of those. And like I said, we have one bone store in town, so I don't know. Maybe I'll have to get creative. But I wanted a silicone or like something that, Anyways, that was my one of my other quests too, was looking for something along the lines of that, and I was unsuccessful. But I did get myself.
Oh, okay. Oh, you got a rolling box. All right, look at that. She's got some gift in the bottom of it already. All right, good stuff.
Yeah, that made me
Yeah,
happy.
actually,
That
that
made me happy
reminds me. Let me go. You keep talking.
because like I said, I hadn't had one for quite a long time, and I was just looking at the tray and realizing and knowing how much keef I was wasting because I would grind that, like I would use that for baking. Like, you weigh it up, gram, 2 grams, you throw that in your baking with your butter, just gives it a little extra kick. Or you
Yeah.
can add it to your butter, right? Or you can, there's so many things you can do with it. So I was quite distraught that I was missing out on all that.
This is
I
my
know.
trick. All right. And then
That's fabulous.
look at the mason jar.
Woo! That's terrific. That's awesome. Yep, that's what you want to see, right? They got some good medicine, and that's it. Like people don't like they'll like the weed, whatever. But that you need that.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at doing when I get time to get things all set up is to press that and
Yeah.
use it in my dewdrop.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and I've got a. It's funny. I've got a hash press, but then it's like hard. You can't use that in the dewdrop because you can't rub it together. Right? You have to. It's not. It's not. It's hard.
It's not. Oh, it's too. It's a rock.
Yeah.
Is it something you got to heat up in order to peel it off?
Well, like I said, it's a hash press. So you can take out your keef, right, and
Yeah.
put it in this little tube, and you screw it together, and you can leave it there for a couple days, and then you pull it out, and you got this little puck of blonde hash. This is what they used to call it, right? Blonde hash.
Yeah. Well, I'm sort of looking if I think I've only used one of those once. And like, could you not? I guess it has to be really squished tight. You can't just slack off on it to try to make it a little pliable, right?
Right. And I don't know. I know that like Alvin and his buddy used to make it more, but they take like oil, mix it with the keef, and then make it into a hash ball, right? But they'd add oil to it, like take RSO and kind of roll the keef with that, and they make it into a square hash ball. It's because finger hash, right? They didn't have finger hash because when we were trimming, we had the
so they were just taking a bunch of keef, put some oil in it, and just start
rolling it into a ball.
Rolling it into a ball.
Yeah.
Forming it. And
using the oil to cohese the keef together to make it into like a black ball.
Yeah.
Well, it's black because the oil's black, right? Your RSO.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, that's how they went about doing that. But he had a friend in Lethbridge that pretty much had like a bong store in his garage. And he wanted to open a storefront, but could just like back then paraphernalia was still illegal. Like there was still is. I think you're not legally supposed to own a bong store unless they changed it within the Cannabis Act, right? Anyway, so he had all the stuff in his garage. So anything you needed, you just went out to his garage, bongs and screens and like I said, hash presses and honeybee extractors. Anything you wanted, he would have in his garage. Never had to go to Bob headquarters, just had to go over to Buddy's place. Right. It was the same with Noreen up in Camrose. She had a bong store in Camrose, but she started her bong store. She was an activist with us back in before 2015, I guess. She started her little bong store in her garage too.
Yeah, you start somewhere, right?
Downtown Canmore or Camrose, sorry. Right across from the MP's office. So when I went to the MP's office to go talk to him about cannabis, right? Her store was right across the street in the base. She'd never been there across the street to talk to him.
Oh.
The first time she had gone over with the MPs was with me.
And probably wondered afterwards, why didn't I do that sooner?
Well, she did. She's like, I could have gone over there lots. I go, well, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bottom of the hour. Time for us to go to break.
All right, I will go check.
When we get back, we're going to be talking about some pillows, some special pillows. So, all right, you're watching the Pace Radio. We're live here at paceradio.net. Talk to you in about 3 minutes, folks.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Re-rolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, we're back, and I know exactly how that lady in that promo there for the re-rolled Saturday coughing away. I know exactly how she feels.
Right. I quickly want to mention about the Langley CSP.
What's that?
The Langley CSP is going to be holding a protest in Vancouver. They're trying to get the Vancouver to allow them to do a year pilot project showing them what cannabis can do in substitution. So you can go to the Langley CSP Facebook page, and all the information is there. But I just wanted to mention that quickly too, because they're looking for support in Vancouver.
So say that again, who they are and where to go.
The Langley Cannabis Substitution Program, and it's Dan. I can't pronounce his last name, so I'm not going to try butchering it. But I think it's Dan High something like. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, it's the Langley Cannabis Substitution Program.
And they have a Facebook page?
They do, yes.
All righty. People can find out more information there.
Yeah, check it out.
Yeah, exactly. People helping people. And, really, patients helping patients.
Patients helping patients, because they're all patients out there. And if you're dealing with any substance, problem, you might be a patient too.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. I mentioned before the break, about some special pillows. I don't know if you've heard about this. CBD infused pillowcases. Have you ever heard of CBD infused pillowcases?
No.
Like, how would they do that? Would you
don't.
wash it out the first time you used it?
I think that, I don't know. What's their claim to fame? What's the claim to fame?
They say that they're CBD coated pillowcases.
Okay,
They
so you get
found that the use of these infused fabric coverings improves the sleep quality of nurses. So if it improves their quality of sleep, I would assume it improve many other people's quality as well.
Why wouldn't they just have a pheromone that they put into a diffuser in the air so it was absolutely not isolated to a pillowcase?
Well, yeah, like would you have to sleep with your face in the pillow? Would it still work if you're sleeping with the pillows behind your head?
Do you have to put the pillowcase over your face?
I don't know. It says demonstrate improvements in sleep quality, mood, and anxiety, highlighting its potential as a non-invasive intervention for shift workers. They say that the observed improvements may be partially attributed to the transdermal absorption of CBD.
But how? How are they doing that?
Yeah, they're saying you're absorbing it through your skin.
But if your hair is on it, like, are you absorbing it?
Well, I know. I'm thinking the same thing, right? You got your head. Yet again, you have to be on your side, I guess, in order to do that.
I'm calling horse pucky.
Let's see. They checked with 40. They had 45 women and 10 men. They did a week of baseline monitoring before they started doing the pillows. Let's see what else here. Yeah, they go on about safety and all.
Is it a pillowcase or is a pill stuffed with CBD?
It's a pillow, CBD coated pillow cover. So it's a cover of a pillow. So whether you call it the case or the cover that's around the pillow before you put the case on it, I'm not sure. Yeah. Let's see. They say that adults struggling with sleep difficulties incorporated a CBD coated pillow cover may serve as an effective aid in improving sleep quality. They say about 7.3% of participants showed significant improvement. And they said about a third of them showed an overall improvement of objective sleep efficacy. So there you go. Pillowcases that can help you.
Like I said, are they disposable pillowcases? Like, what do you sleep on it once, and then like how is it reusable? Like, what is it? Like, it seems funny.
It just says it's a CBD coated pillowcases, and you absorb it through your skin. Because it says transdermal, right? You got to think of a transdermal patch. You get them on your absorbs in. Now, mind you, that patch, I believe, has that not got some penetration going on there?
No, because even like Nicotine patches and stuff are just a patch. Like they're just like plastic on your skin, like a tattoo, or not a tattoo, but a sticker, right?
Sticker.
But it's got like, even when you put a Nicotine patch on, like it burns your skin. So you are getting some sort of absorption from that patch, right?
Yeah.
But then you also sweat them off because underneath that skin is now getting feeling like it's trapped. So then the skin starts sweating and the patch eventually falls off.
Mm-hmm.
It never effectively stays on for 12 hours like it's supposed
to. They just go on about a bunch of different studies and that separate studies and things, but I don't know how. What's that?
Where were the studies done at?
Let's see. I gotta scroll back up. Marilyn Moment has a lot of long stories. I'm just trying to see where it's from here. Usually they say where it's from, or there's a quote from somebody. then that quote tells them who it was or where it was. They just say authors of the report, but I don't even see. Oh, hang on. The study was authored by a 7-person team from institutions in Taiwan, including China Medical University, a psychiatric center, and a company called Sunbeam.
That's interesting. China and Taiwan when cannabis is illegal over there.
Yeah.
Like you can get.
Yeah, it's not good over there. Well, Taiwan, they've changed their laws.
Well, Taiwan is now like. Well, right now Taiwan's in the middle of like being taken over.
Yeah, I know there's that end of things.
But China, didn't they just execute 4 Canadians that were Chinese Canadian dual citizens for drug offenses?
Yeah. And talking about that, there was that fellow there that who went to court there in December on Christmas Day, over in the Middle East, and he got busted for jar of oil and something else or something like that. I've never seen another report on what happened to him.
I was a Canadian too.
He was Canadian. I read his name and I thought, holy shit, I know a guy by that name, and it ended up that it wasn't him. His name was Kevin O'Rourke.
Huh.
And he was from Mississauga. He was same age as me, I believe.
No, yeah. Have you tried Googling?
He got life in jail, and he was.
Where was it? Is it like Syria or like where was it? Like Afghanistan?
Yeah, UAE or something along that line.
The EAU.
AAU, yeah, something, whatever, yeah.
Oh, Qatar.
United Arab Immigrant.
United Arab, yes, Qatar. Doha. Dubai.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because when you watch Al Jazeera, they're always asking you, like, come visit and, come move here. Why would you want to move there if you're not going to be able to do what you want?
Yeah. Yeah, I just searched his name, and the oldest article in there that I'm seeing is December the 28th, and which was after the Christmas court case. So it's by canoreporter.ue. Yeah, the UAE. You could face life in prison. 50 grams of cannabis and 60 grams of CBD oil.
Yeah, they don't mess around over there.
No, and
I mean,
I haven't seen anything since. Like, I just did the search for him, right?
Well, it's funny because usually then, like, he'll get consulate, whatever.
Yeah.
And usually you think that they would just deport him back to Canada. You'd think. And I don't understand why our citizens who are charged with offenses aren't just immediately deported back to Canada. Into our authorities to deal with it, right? Over here, 50 grams of cannabis, they would just go home.
That could be one reason why they wouldn't do it, because then they know that they send him home, he's not going to be punished.
We have different laws. We have different laws and different traditions.
I know. Yeah.
They expect us to act like they, within the rules and regulations there. Well, when they come here, but I mean, there's also countries that, I think it's China, actually. Or is it South Korea? No, I think it's China. If you're caught doing or using illicit drugs outside the country and then go home and they test you and they find out that you were using illegal drugs outside the country, they will charge you. I think it was China.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't got a clue.
You don't go on vacation, go to California, smoke some cannabis, and then go home to China.
Oh, yeah. That I think that's even in Japan, too.
Yeah, there's somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure.
There's other countries that do that.
Yeah.
I'll just double check that on the Japan thing, because
there's a lot of Americans stuff that go to Japan to teach English and stuff too, so that might have changed. But they're pretty traditional there. I'm watching people that are actually like Americans and Canadians that are living there, but they're living
Yeah.
there in smaller villages and stuff, teaching English. They're pretty traditional.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's odd to Canadians because we don't have any tradition.
Yeah.
Like we're just like feral.
Yeah. There's an article there on I see here on Reddit that says Japan has told citizens living in Canada not to partake.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, the Korean government still has hold on their people here too.
Mm-hmm.
So they immigrate here, but they still watch Korean TV, listen to Korean TV, and the Koreans have influence on what they do in Canada.
Oh,
And that's yeah. And I find that odd.
I just went to the news source and it is in Japanese, so I can't read that.
Google.
Good day, Scott. And earlier there was a fellow by the name of Joe stopped by, gave us some thumbs up.
Nice.
Um,
I'm not eating dinner. I had to check my meat. I'm making adobo. You have to.
You're making a what?
Adobo.
What's adobo?
It's a Filipino meat over rice dish that so you take some stew meat or some beef and you make it like so that it's like almost like melt in your mouth, like fall apart. So you like simmer it on low in beef broth and soy sauce and Worcestershire sauce with onions and garlic for like 5 hours. And then you make rice and you put it over rice and you cut up some cucumbers, a little bit of carrot and some sesame seeds on top with some bean sprouts and dinner.
Yeah. Can you infuse that?
Yeah, I could infuse the sesame oil.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be very good though. You could use
No.
butter, I guess. No.
No.
Well, not really. It's just rice and meat.
I see there's a company out there. Let me see where they are. Oh, they're in Germany. And they have claimed that they have made the first non-addictive cannabis painkiller.
Cannabis isn't addicting anyway.
I've seen reports like 9% of people may get addicted to it, but yeah, I know where you're coming from.
I'm reading a book right now because I'm doing a favor for a friend, and I'm reading this book right now by a Canadian writer. And it goes back to Germany, like during the war, and how it's not like factual, but they were smoking cannabis back in Germany back in the 40s.
Yeah. Really, eh?
Yep. They come home like, smelling like booze and weed.
Booze and weed.
Yep.
They said in this study they had 800 people that they did this, and they added low levels of THC to the extract. And they found that they tested patients who were suffering from chronic lower back pain. And let's see. Users of the medicine in the trial also showed no evidence of becoming intoxicated. Just shows you that they reported less pain and better sleep.
That's the thing people don't get. Once you've been consuming cannabis, you don't get high school high anymore.
Yeah.
There's no giggling and laughing and farting and all the funny things you do when you're a teenager. This doesn't happen. You're not encouraged. You can't, you're not like walking down the street. Hey!
Yeah.
Like it's just like you don't see the 70s show kind of like made us look like we were watching like mushrooms. It's not psychedelic folks. It's just not.
Yeah, they say that 1 in 5 patients reported feeling a bit dizzy for a couple of weeks. So that was after starting it. And did that couple of weeks get to the point where the tolerance?
Well, depending if they're starting with like a non-consumer right from the get-go.
Right.
Like somebody who's never consumed cannabis before would have a different effect than somebody who'd been priorly consuming, right? Because of the different levels in tolerance.
They say chronic pain affects 1.5 billion people worldwide.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Uh,
And as we get
they've applied for approval to be used in Europe.
well, Germany did like legalize, right? And
Yeah.
Amsterdam,
Yeah.
like I mean, the only thing Amsterdam I think did was make it so that tourists couldn't go into their cafes anymore. Right? Like they didn't change the laws for locals.
No. No, it didn't. What are you smoking there now? I'll let you finish it. Oh yeah, there you go.
Like I said, I drug this thing out and then I broke the bong that I was using because it was an older cheap bong. It was just a cheap whatever, right? But I mean
Right.
that thing gets hot and I knocked it over and it broke, right? So then I went and bought this little tiny banger bong from the bong store, brought it home and realized that it was garbage. It wasn't like didn't have a long enough neck on it, right? So every time
Right.
you use the top, like the carb cap, you're getting it in your hair, and it's like, no, I can't use this. So I had to drag that out, and as much as I didn't want to, I did. But that's my trophy from Cannabis Cup.
Oh yes. Oh.
So it's my trophy. But yeah,
There you go.
it's being used. But I'd rather use it. And that, I bought from, I can't remember his name, off it. Like, he's a friend of Chris and Ross's. And he was in Montreal, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's got a sticker on it. I think it says, I can't remember.
I got one sitting here in a box. I've never used it. And
I used this a few times.
It's a markable one. You can use markers on it. It's what's it called? Doodle bond. So you can doodle on it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Paint it, color it, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, no, this is a hand glass blown from Narc Glass, the bond. Like this is local. It came from Narc Glass in Nelson.
Yeah, it looks like a spine. It's
yeah, it's a spine, yeah. And that was, like I said, that was the trophies for the first Cannabis Cup that we ever had.
Oh yeah.
And you can see the etching. If you can see the etching.
Oh, is there? No, I can't read it.
Yeah.
No, bring it down slowly. Now, what about now? Down, bring it down so we can see the whole neck in there. Down. Now, like some people would say, "Boy, that's a lot of air you're sucking in there before you even get to your toe."
Well, there's water in there. But
Yeah, I can see that, but still, yeah.
So you can see the KCC, but then the year after that, this one broke too. Like it just breaks my heart because they were beautiful too, and I should have like loaded them up and sent it back. So the next year, I also won for candy, and this is the bottom of it, and this is the top of it.
Is it broken?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the ear.
Now, who?
Hoot.
Take a hoot.
Yeah, and it's got the so that was with the etching in it too for the top.
Yeah,
right?
It's too bad.
And
The
then
thing is, it's hard to get. You can't get those things. Well, maybe you can get it fixed, but
I could send it back to her in Nelson, and she told me she could fix it. But
oh yeah,
I got a little pendant too, like that's an owl, the same, only it's purple, and it's like you put it on a necklace, like it's a necklace, and it's the same thing, and the ear broke off of it too, like because it's glass, right? Like anyway.
yeah.
I told somebody in my house, you break that, and I'll break you.
And then you broke it.
I broke it. I broke the last one. It was me. So if that gets broken and I break it, then it's my fault.
That's your fault. Yeah. You gotta give yourself shit, right?
It's not that like it's not that big of a deal. It's a piece of glass. Yeah, would I be heartbroken? Sure, a little bit, but I get over it. It's just
sentimental value.
I got lots of pictures of it. Got pictures of me holding it. Like.
Yeah, it's always nice though to be able to really show it.
Yeah, but like I said, I've had them put in my tucked away in my buffet because I don't display that kind of stuff when you got a 15-year-old and his friends are coming in the house. You don't have your phones hanging out in public. Not everybody smoke weed.
Now, I don't know. I know across the country, the laws and the provinces and all that, they can have the differences. Like out there in Calgary and Alberta, they have events where they can have cannabis being sold or consumption and stuff like that. Where we don't have that here in Ontario, and a lot of other provinces don't have it. I haven't heard of anybody with this, but I'm seeing here of a place where they are approving a drive-through cannabis store. Have you heard of any drive-through cannabis stores?
No, we've got to drive through liquor stores and nothing strong.
Yeah, why not?
Well, yeah, I guess if you know what you're going to pick up. I like to look at the packages. But we
No,
could
but
deliver.
everybody knows what they want.
I guess it's
Or they,
delivery because I get mine delivered.
yeah.
Yeah, they deliver.
Yeah, but if you're out and about running around.
Yeah.
Right?
Right. Yeah.
And you're gonna stop there. But yeah, do you pay for they charge you for delivery?
No.
Oh.
Not over a certain amount. No, of course, it's always over that certain amount.
Yeah. If you're gonna spend $10 on a joint, you're not gonna get it delivered.
Like the minimum I think is $60. It's not even like a lot. It's $60, I think. But yeah, like it floors me that Alberta's got that many stores and that much leeway because they sure the hell didn't before.
No. But I thought drive-through, like, why are they worried? Like, they have drive-through banking, so like somebody could run between the car and the machine and scoop up money if they're worried about someone doing that with cannabis.
Well, yeah,
Right.
But again, they drive through liquor too, like
drive-through liquor. I don't know of it around here, anyways. And the things
they do. Even in Calgary, Alberta, you can drive through liquor till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Really?
Oh yeah, but like Alberta, you can buy liquor up till like 2:50 a.m. Out here, 11 o'clock, you're done, right?
Yeah.
In Alberta, you can buy booze up till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Now it says that for this drive-through place, you have to place your order ahead of time.
Oh yeah.
In order to get it.
That makes sense. Do it online and then it's all ready for you.
Oh, why couldn't you just do like a drive-through at Timmy's? You just got a board there with all these things.
Yeah.
Changing and all that, showing beverages or pre-rolls or
whatever.
Buns. I don't know. Is there any regulations against having a drive-through?
Maybe that would fall under advertising.
Advertising?
Well, they're not supposed to advertise, right? So if it's in public with a screen, some kid might walk by the screen and see the weed and the blunts. If there's no car there.
Does it have a window that's not covered? Yeah, I know, eh?
Right? I don't know. I don't see any problem with it. I really don't. I think it's a great idea. I think that we should be able to do whatever the hell we want. If I want to open a lounge down the street with fucking, people that can come in and smoke and vape and bring their bongs and hang out and listen to music, why should I not be able to? Here's my business license. I'll pay you for that. Insurance liability. What's the problem? You let people do it with alcohol. What do you want me to have a cannabis license to do this? Like you have to have a liquor license? I'm not buying it to serve it.
Well, obviously they don't want you to smoke in a building, but I don't see why you could not have. There's lots of other alternatives from smoking, right, that are available out there. Why couldn't you have a place like a lounge where you could go in and order a meal and get something that was cannabis infused? Or why couldn't that business at nighttime turn into an entertainment location where they sell edibles and sell beverages and people get there to watch comedy or music bands or whatever? Like, that eliminates the smoking. That's their biggest thing.
No, you're totally right, Al. Like, I totally agree with you. Like I said, I've always wanted to have a cannabis bistro, right? Where you come in and you order your food and you sit and have a little 3-piece band and You can't serve wine, but you can have kombucha or some other, fancy fizzy water with your, or cannabis beverage with your cannabis meal. Like, you
Yeah.
don't, so you serve cannabis beverages. So you get cannabis infused wines and cannabis infused beers that, rather than, you know what I mean? Like, doesn't have to have
Yeah.
alcohol. I'm sure that there's those type of beverages you can get that
Yeah, well, they can sell
make you
beverages. They have low, what do you call that? Near beer or low alcohol beer. You can have. They make beverages with low doses of the milligrams of THC in them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And we're only allowed 10 anyways.
Well,
But that does get some people, corked.
yeah.
I've seen it.
I mean, if you could like make your own cocktails, have your own like line of cocktails that only have like 3 milligrams or 5 milligrams per, so you can have a couple of them rather than only having one. Like have 2 milligrams, so you can have like, you get your 10 milligrams. That's 5 drinks, right? You only, you have a little. You can have a mojito with, that's infused or not, or mocktails. And so you're not serving any alcohol. You're serving like infused drinks. So make tinctures to go into your mocktails.
Yes. Yep. Like I buy that
those shots.
That THC base from Legacy 420, and
exactly.
Each milliliter is 21 milligrams of THC.
Right. So you use that. Yeah. So you'd use that in like any mojito with minus the liquor. So you'd be, your lime juice, your simple syrup, some, 7-Up or ginger ale. Dropper of your little THC with your lime.
Yeah, that's what people could do. Yeah, I'm not, because it's got pop in it. I couldn't drink it, but I can't drink carbonated beverages.
No, you can't. But there's like and you don't like iced tea, but there are like other.
No, but that's something that's that could be served at a lounge, at a business. You don't even have to call it a lounge. Just call it
and cannabis teas. Like you don't have to have anything to do with the cocktail. You have tea, coffee, infused. You can infuse the cream because it's milk. You can definitely
more than coffee and donuts.
Right.
There's infused coffee with your donut.
Muffins.
Yeah.
Bones.
Yeah. Exactly.
The sky's the limit. It's food, right?
Exactly. So, all right, it's commercial break time already. We'll be right back after our promos and stuff like that. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. As always, we're live, paceradio.net, 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats, and look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have, as well as for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario. Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Rerolled Saturdays. Check it out. Nothing but non-stop cannabis and psychedelic programming. Find it at 420pace.ca.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
All right, we're back, and I've got something here that I don't know. I would think it probably might piss you off as well as it did me. And that is because you and I and many others fought for cannabis for patients and the rights for patients to get access to it and all that stuff. And so I seen this story on this situation where they busted some people, and there it is. They busted some people here in Ontario. They found them with 17,000 plants. Well, it says 17,000 cannabis products were destroyed and seized. And what that doesn't piss me off. What pisses me off is the group allegedly applied for Health Canada authorizations to produce medicinal cannabis using the identity of individuals who didn't know that they were involved. The authorizations were used to obtain commercial licenses and expand production. People wouldn't even know that they were getting licenses put into their names. And then you wonder why the government's saying, we got to change the cannabis laws, or we're going to review the designated grower provisions in the licensing. And
so who are these people that they got licensing for? Were they going to notify the people that they have names for? Like, who's the doctor that signed these? Like, who's the doctor?
Yeah, exactly.
And exactly like what Health Canada agent authorized them? Like, how deep does this corruption go?
Yeah. Well, they I don't see any charges. Okay.
Of course not.
Well, hang on. There are charges for unlawful cultivation and conspiracy to cultivate and conspiracy to export it. But it says that there is one person who faces charges of identity theft. They used forged documents, would probably be signing the Health Canada documentation, and then proceeds of crime. So there's been at least one person charged with the charge of the forging of documents. But that doesn't mean that one person could have just signed all those documents with different names on it. Yeah. And then they scream and yell at us as patients.
Well, that's the thing. There's always those bad apples. That's why I mean, there's always people that are fraudulent within our systems. It's like people that collect unemployment and then take jobs for cash under the table. You're not fucking the government. You're fucking your neighbor. And these people are doing the same thing. You're not fucking the government. You're fucking the patients. Because now the patients program, right? It'll be the patients that suffer. It'll be the ones that actually follow the program.
Yeah. All it takes is a change in government, and they say, "Oh, we got to make a change in the cannabis laws because it's being abused." And
that's why Harper started this whole rigmarole to begin with, because they were finding abuse within the program, right? They were finding designated growers and looking at licensing for 200 plus grams, and like that all of a sudden started popping up. Why do you think we got? Why do you think they did what they did?
That's why they did it. Yeah.
Why do you think they didn't want us growing our own meds? Because they knew that there was people out there that were growing more than they should be for Not what they
You know,
should be.
someone's got a license for 5 grams, so that's 25 plants. And if they got a couple plants over, oh, whoopie-doo. I know of a guy who had 200 plant limit, and he got busted for 2,500.
Why would you do that?
Read it in the paper. Town south of us. I thought, what the fuck? Yeah, licensed patient.
Like, that's the thing. Like, that's, and like I said, those are the people that make it harder for the rest of us.
Yeah, you know, I can see that you got your 5 grams, so that's 25 plants. Depending on what your setup is, you know, where you're cutting clones and trying to make sure that your numbers stay sufficient, you might end up with, because of your cuttings, you may end up with a little bit more than your 25 plants. But it's you know, you eliminate the bad ones and you keep the good ones, and that dwindles the numbers back down where they're supposed to be. Yeah, you know, but
yeah, that's unfortunate because it only takes like, and that's like the second big one I think I've heard in the last little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the numbers are anywhere else. Didn't we just talk about another one not too long ago? That was a fairly substantial one.
Yeah.
Down southeastern Ontario.
Yeah. Yeah, there was another one there. This one, seeing where this one was at. It just says there were 3 production sites in total. And they said it was being exported to the United States and Hong Kong.
How could it get exported to the United States and Hong Kong?
I don't know. That's what it says. That's what it says. And they called it they laundered the money through the Canadian banking system by a sophisticated identity fraud scheme. So who knows?
Criminals, right? Those are criminals. Those aren't even patients. Those are just criminals. Those are people that are definitely. But again, those are the people that make it hard for the rest of us.
It makes it hard for the rest of us. And then you hear the municipalities, you hear the police yelling, "The loopholes! Close the loopholes! Close the loopholes in the program!" And that's what they want. They want to get rid of that designated grower thing.
Well, they don't even want us growing our own plants.
They don't even know. There's that too, for sure.
They don't even want us growing our plants at all. Like I said, that's why the licensed producers were started to begin with, because Harper figured that we should just be able to purchase it from licensed production, right? Yeah, and then we said no. We spent what? We were in court. The injunction's still there. Like, but that could fall. Like, it only takes the wrong government to make it fall. It's an injunction.
Yeah, so it'll be see what happens down the road. But hopefully that's not, you know, that just adds, unfortunately, to everything that piles up, right? Let's see, we got some good stuff here. France, they've launched a regulated medical cannabis market. What's that?
They're more worried about, I think, fentanyl right now. I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But you would think, well, they're looking for that they would find cannabis. You know, if they're taking X-rays of trucks, or if they're taking X-rays of your vehicle, or, you know, searching your vehicle because they just think that you look like somebody that could. Oh, you got your cannabis hat on over there, please.
Yeah,
that's all it takes.
Yeah, I think there's like bigger fish to fry right now than people with a little bit. Like, even if it's like 17,000 plants, that's not killing people.
No, it's not. No, and in some cases, it's actually probably healing people, depending on who the receiver is on the other end eventually.
Exactly, and it could be, who knows, right? It could be transactional, who knows? Maybe it's falling into something else, but tying the cannabis to that, just feels yucky.
Yucky.
Well, it does, like, you know, even when we were like growing with our licensing and stuff, like, I was giving it away. I wasn't like making a pile of money off it, or I wouldn't be like sitting in a broken down house working for like, you know, $20 an hour at a store. Like, you know, I didn't get rich off like anybody, not even my, you know, so.
Let's see. I got something here. I'm trying to think if it's I think it's one that we've already talked about. Anyway, gone.
It sounds like there's been, quite a bit of something going on.
Yeah, there is. There are, I told you I'd be coughing just like that lady in the promo. Oh, it's in my chest, eh? And just take a little toke of this stuff.
Yeah, cough that shit out. It's better for you.
Yeah, they make me cough even without the cold.
Right?
Yeah. So.
Yeah, no, it's funny how people think that, like, I just can't imagine trying to. I couldn't even imagine trying to get to Hong Kong. That's pretty ballsy.
Yeah.
How the hell are you getting that stuff into Hong Kong? What do you? Yeah.
Well, there was a famous guy that lived in Toronto. I got to see him speak at the Niagara Falls Library, and he used to smuggle tons of hash into Canada. Rosie Rosenbaum. And he served the longest time in jail for importing of stuff. And he talked about it at one of his, that discussion at Niagara Falls, on how he did it and paying off people in the process all the way through in order to get, in order to get the hash here.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to, right? Like
people paid off at both ends. Right? You got to have the exporting place and the importing end of it. Everybody wants a little bit of the action. Right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess that'll always. I just. Anyway.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
There's something that I found at the U.S. government's National Cancer Institute. And it says more people with cancer use medicinal cannabis, and oncologists face questions that they could struggle with to find answers. That could be solved by starting to train the doctors and educating the doctors on the benefits of cannabis when it comes to cancer. Start, really,
Well, that's the thing. Like,
train them properly.
Like, if they, I mean, if we can Google the information ourselves, why can't a doctor? Sorry.
Well, yeah, but then a doctor that if it's not given to them by the College of Physicians or so on and so forth.
But I think there is an accredited course about CBDs and stuff through their medical accreditation, because I have to take so many courses. I can't remember who was telling me this, but there is an accreditation course that they have to take every year or something to maintain their licensing, right? So they have to keep getting themselves educated. It's not like you become a GP.
Oh, yeah. They have to go. Mechanics can do the same thing too.
Well, yeah, but you have to do, like I said, so many accredited courses a year when you're a doctor to keep your licensing, right? And I believe, I know that Jan was teaching a course on CBD, CBH, and cannabis before. Now, I think Dr. Ira Price had mentioned something before.
I remember he was educating doctors about medicinal cannabis.
And I think he was attempting to, but I think that he had mentioned that there is an accredited course they could opt into taking, right? So there is, and apparently there's a portion of the medical journal that does have a portion of a little bit of cannabis information. Because there's apparently all these studies out of Israel, right?
Yeah. They say the first ever clinical guidance on cannabis use from the American Society of Clinical Oncology, which was published a year ago, March of 2024, put it bluntly, cannabis and/or cannabinoid access and use by adults with cancer has outpaced science supporting their clinical use. People are ahead of the science.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because they don't have enough science that they've done to back up what they're seeing. Evidence-based in front of you, right? But yeah, there's none. Yeah, it is. It's outpacing what they can actually put on paper.
They surveyed oncologists and oncology nurses, and only 13% of them said that they felt comfortable. They felt that they were knowledgeable about cannabis. So there you go, 87%.
Some of them don't want to be either, right?
Yeah. Now, some of that 87% said that they were comfortable giving guidance, but obviously the knowledge end was on the down end scale.
But again, they're willing to discuss it, which is more than not,
Mm-hmm.
which is phenomenal to begin with. But I think, like I said, as younger generations come up and they see that, cannabis is now going into a 7th year being legal, and the sky hasn't fallen.
No,
There's
exactly.
this huge influx of, kids in the ER, and sure, we've had a few. There's been a few people that, let's face it, there's always going to be side effects to everything, no matter what it is, and that's just the facts of life. There are going to be people that cannot consume it. There are going to be people that are allergic to it. There are people that will get whatever cannabis hypercisis, whatever they call it, because and that's the science that they've seen, right?
Yeah.
They're also not seeing anybody dying from it.
Yeah, there was just recently, just aired, I think 2 weeks ago, here on the network, the Veteran Action Council, the back round table. They air Sunday night, 8 o'clock. They had an interview with a very knowledgeable cannabis doctor on that CHS or CMHS or whatever you call it, CHS, Dr. Ethan Russo. And he was talking about it on the show. So anybody's looking for information on that, that's a fellow that you want to listen to.
Yeah, Dr. Russo is very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
And he's not like, and get as much information from you as you possibly can, because he's been around for a while. Like
I remember those early days, just being a sponge, just whatever you could take, get in,
Well, the old list, right? Like we had that old list.
Yeah, the CCC.
Yeah, I love that list.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of people on there.
Yeah.
Let's see. France and Czechoslovakia, they're getting medical programs, which is good to see. Expansions of those in other countries.
Absolutely. I think with PTSD that people are, I think seeing all over the world right now.
Yeah.
The more ganja, the better.
We've been starting to call it on the news broadcast. We've been calling it PDSI. Instead of a disorder, we've been calling it an injury.
Yeah.
Right? And that come from originally in a discussion that I had with and another person had with a fellow by the name of Al Byrne. He started a group called Patients Out of Time. He's been involved in VAC. He's been involved in cannabis. He's written a book. He's been around for decades in this, and he thinks it is. He doesn't like the word disorder, because it's not a disorder. A disorder is something that you've had all along. Something along the line. It's just an injury.
Yeah, it is.
Right? There is a TBI, which is a brain injury, which would be from getting hit with something, right?
Yeah. Different than post-traumatic.
Yeah, it's a physical injury.
Yeah, because this is like, well, you also get like physical trauma too that comes along with a lot of domestic violence, right? So you get a little bit of both, and it's hard to shake that off. Even like I said, as you get older too. Like for myself, I mean, I survived, thank goodness, but my body's like throwing out places that were broken and injured before.
Mm-hmm.
That's where everything's kind of settling in. Like, I got osteo on top of the rheumatoid now in my hips, my pelvis.
Yeah, you're lucky. Yeah.
All swollen up again tonight too. Like I said, like we just got a dinger. We're gonna get snow. The humidity levels drop. Look at my arm. I need the humidity levels drop this afternoon because my arm started swelling again.
Swelling again. I remember I saw you the last time you posted a picture of it.
Yeah, and it was like this I think not last week, the week before. It was last week. No, it was Thursday because it was the day I had my day off, right? And it started getting really humid, and we ended up with rain. I was leaving work this afternoon, and I see lightning.
Oh yeah, well, I saw a post, a comment actually from my sister, a text message in our group text messaging thing, saying that she's seeing lightning right now.
Yeah, and I've got a lightning striker like thingy on my phone. It hasn't gone off recently, but it was going off when I left from work. And I seen a big meow, and it was pretty dark, but that was off to the east. But
Yeah.
here we
Let's
go.
see. So what's
Storms time.
let's see. France is expecting 500,000 patients by 2035. Okay. Let's see. There's 4 years of trials, and they're well. Okay. Prescriptions are limited to trained doctors for specific conditions. Smoking remains banned. Only vaporized flowers and oils and sublingual solutions are allowed. So you can't smoke.
I get that. I mean, I think that's held a lot of people back for a long time. Is the whole smoking the carcinogenic belief.
Yeah, I know Florida has in their medical program allows smoking for the longest time, and there's other countries that don't allow it either.
Right. And like I said, that's why these things seem to be popular.
Yeah, but so many people find benefit from smoking it because of the fact that it gets you, it hits you, gives you your relief quicker. Now they have to, let's see, neuropathic pain, drug-resistant epilepsy, spasticity from multiple sclerosis, and side effects of chemotherapy and palliative care. Yeah, it's too bad. I'm just seeing if there's anything else in there.
What was the list again? I didn't hear anything about Crohn's.
No, there wasn't. Neuropathic pain, drug resistant to epilepsy, MS, chemotherapy, palliative care, and neuropathic pain.
So absolutely nothing that would help either one of us.
No. The products include oils and sublingual solutions will be derived from 3 profiles: THC dominant, balanced, and CBD dominant plants. Each product will have to be full spectrum, with the possibility of also declaring minor cannabinoids and terpenes, thus promoting greater competitiveness. Okay. So there you go. In France, no smokables for the patients, only vaporization. And in the Czech Republic,
yeah, and you have to be have to have very limited.
Yeah, there's no growing allowed, I would say, because it mentioned about, well, I guess we got strict growing things for our LPs as well, but there's nothing there for patients to grow their own. And go ahead.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, it is. Oh, look at this. Czechoslovakia, their health insurance providers have covered 90% of the cost of prescribed cannabis since 2020, with a maximum reimbursement of 30 grams per month.
That's an ounce.
It's an ounce. It's not enough for everybody, obviously, but it covers the cost of an ounce, right?
Right.
Yeah.
At least they're doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. There's only a few thousand people that are on the program.
Well, I think
they expect it to grow. So
yeah, I think they're really hesitant. I guess is probably the best word, because let's face it, we've had so much propaganda from so many people for so many years, and everything keeps changing, and all of a sudden, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. All of a sudden, something that was the devil's lettuce is good. It's medicine when before you were told it was bad. You have to kind of take into account where these people live, right? These Czechoslovakia, they've been lied to for forever.
Well, here's some good news in Czechoslovakia. Medical cannabis is now available for palliative patients under 18.
No, that's good.
in children diagnosed with oncology and hemato-oncological, which are cancers and disorders of blood and lymphatic systems. So that is good news. That the young ones will have access to it through the doctors. Now, in Czechoslovakia, they've also allowing individuals to legally cultivate up to 3 plants
Oh, that's good too.
with the THC content exceeding 1%.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
I don't know. Exceeding. It says cultivate up to 3 cannabis plants with a THC content exceeding 1%. So exceeding would be past the 1%.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something must be missing there. Oh, okay. Yeah. The THC threshold where hemp is legally considered cannabis. That's that 1%.
Oh.
And you can possess up to 50 grams of cannabis in public. Okay. You can have 50 grams of cannabis in public, and it says you can have 25 grams in your home. I had to check and make sure I wasn't reading that wrong.
Maybe that's a typo because that just sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, why would you only allow 25 grams at home, but you can have 50 grams walking around? But even the 75 grams, you can outgrow that in your 3 plants.
Make it make sense because it doesn't.
I know, eh?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, I'll just stash it out in public.
Yeah. What do you?
5 grams home and leave the rest outside.
It's not in my home. It's in my yard.
Yeah, it's in the doghouse. Go back. Like, the fuck is that shit?
Yeah, and then how do you? I guess are you supposed to destroy any overage? So your plant you got 3 plants. You get, depending on your plant, let's say you get like 3.5 or 4 pounds.
You turn the 25 grams in your house.
And like, what do you do?
It's underneath doghouse. Like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That just sounds like I said, like, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I know. I grew, because they talked about 1% there. Okay, so last year I grew a CBD plant that had, what is it, 4% or 3% on the THC scale. So it's not high THC, and I got over a pound off of it.
Right.
So I don't know how they expect a patient to only grow 75 because they're gonna keep 50 outside and 25 in the house.
Oh, your neighbor can keep 50 over there and 25 in his, and 50 in that neighbor's. Like,
so I don't know.
Like I said, that this sounds so ridiculous. Like, what do? Dig a hole? Like,
yeah, like it's great to see that the countries are doing this, having a medical cannabis program, but obviously, just like our own here in Canada, there's improvements.
Wasn't that ridiculous? Well, I guess it was at first.
It was at first. Remember the 100-centimeter height?
Yeah. You see, it has to have a barcode on it.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that mean?
100 centimeters. What's that? 50 inches?
Yeah, how are they going to monitor that?
Yeah.
Like,
you're going to have the tape ruler
on their pants, or a little yellow stripe.
No, they're going to the inspectors. The inspectors would have been people who were 100 centimeters tall, and if they were taller than them, then they were too tall. That's what I can think of.
I just can't even.
Yeah, well, I was glad to see the government threw that out. Even
there's still turdy laws. Some of them are still just are turds.
Correct. Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's still some laws that need to be turfed that they've got on there.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that.
Policies weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah.
I guess be grateful for what we do have is better than having nothing. But me.
Yeah. Well, just think. You used to serve, if you grew your 6 plants, you'd serve more time than sexual predators.
We did. They were. They do.
I don't know they weren't. I know. Mandatory minimums.
Yeah.
Right.
Private jails.
Alright.
What they're doing in the U.S., where those people are being held in the U.S. by a private prison system coming to you from downtown Texas. Like, you don't want that shit up here.
Oh no. Alrighty. Anything else? It's bottom of the hour.
No, cannabis and coffee on Monday. We'll probably cut some pictures, hopefully, for your CASP on Friday. Other than that, have a good week.
Alrighty. Other than that as well, thanks for response, Limestone City Hydroponics.ca, At-Eze.ca, and the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. And thanks to everybody for tuning in the program. Really appreciate it. If you're watching us on YouTube, and I know that there are some people right now watching us on YouTube,
Subscribe.
hit the subscribe button, and you'll catch all our notifications of all our programs here on the Pace Radio Network. Let's see. Shortly, we're going to have 2 on Sunday. We've got 2 shows on Monday. There's 2 broadcasts that come out on the network on Tuesday. We got the Pace Radio show on Wednesday. Thursday, we've got 2 shows that come out. That's the new show. Plus, we got a brand new music show program that launched last week. Episode number 2 goes this Thursday at 9 o'clock. High Vibes with Dr. High. Catch all your cannabis tunes. And they're very educational in the process at the same time. Right? We had them on here last week.
It's pretty impressive, yeah. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was. It was good. And I know that this weekend or tonight's or tomorrow night's broadcast, when I first watched it, because I get a sneak peek of it, right? Because he's a content provider, so he sends it on to me, and then I get it all scheduled and programmed into the system in order for it to go out. And so I always take a quick check on it, and I can tell you there's stuff in there that should be big hits. Like, you know, if he still had the Cannabis Awards and Music Awards for marijuana, like we did at the TY Expo in 2010, the Global Marijuana Music Awards, I wouldn't doubt if there'd be some award winners there for sure. So, all right, and other than that, don't forget Saturday. We got Rerolled Saturdays. That's a combination of Pace Radio Network and 420 Radio. All our programming is combined. You get hours and hours of nonstop psychedelic and cannabis educational and informative information, as well as some discussions and so on and so forth, news. And let's see what else on that. We start at 9. We get things rolling at 9, and that's for the daytime edition. And then we spark up the nighttime edition at 4 o'clock. And basically, we go for about 13 or 14 hours in there, nonstop. And the great thing is that I believe, I have to double check, but you go to the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, not Facebook, but website. You scroll down to the bottom of the schedule, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, go down to Saturday. You'll be able to click on Rerolled Saturdays, and you can just watch nonstop. It'll go from each show, so you could sit there for days, weeks, months, just watching nonstop psychedelics, cannabis education information. So, all right. Other than that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you all next week. Bye bye.
Let's share Pace everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.